In this 5-part series, I will capture about the basics of consulting and what is consulting all about. Now, consulting is based on a relationship between a client and a consultant. The client has a defined problem and the consultant has the sufficient expertise to be able to suggest ways to solve the problem. Now, it's important to understand that the consultant's role is to suggest the ways and work with the client or beside him while the client is deploying that particular problem, particular solution which is supposed to solve that problem that he has. Now, very often consulting gets confused because there are consultants who do not have the expertise, and they then try to confuse by differentiating between process and content. So while the client has let's assume that the client has a challenge related to competitive edge that it had in the market, which it feels is eroding. The consultant might say that I have the process with me, and using the process I will help you uncover, and then you can fix. Now, this is a flawed mechanism because consultant by design has to be an expert in process and content. Otherwise, he does not justify to be a consultant. Imagine a doctor who is a true case of a consultant. What if the doctor says that I will take you through the process of diagnostic and reports and all that, and then give you all the reports, and you please figure out what's wrong with you? Now, that won't work. That won't work. So therefore, a consultant, whosoever you deploy as a customer, or if you are a consultant somewhere, you have to handle the process and the content sides of it. A typical consulting scenario will go through 4 different phases. Phase 1 is problem definition. Phase 2 is about problem identification. The phase 3 is about solution generation, and phase 4 is about solution deployment. These phases are distinctly different from each other and needs to be treated like that. A consultant who comes at the stage 1 or the stage 2 accordingly has to handle it in that manner. Very often in consulting, what I've seen is that the phase 1 has already been done by the client. So the consultant therefore comes and understands the phase 1 and then goes into phase 2, phase 3, etc. Now, it's important to know a few things, that if the consultant is not having sufficient expertise, the person should not get into it, because this relationship is totally based on expertise. And if the client does not have a real challenge, or if the business is doing fine, the consultant should not deliberately try to push solutions. So a consultant must have expertise, and he should not be in a push stage. If the consultant is in a push stage, he is trying to force the client, and that again does not work in the practice of consulting. It's not a good practice to do that. So As we go through these four steps of consulting in the next 4 videos, keep in mind that a consulting solution necessarily has to focus on the defined problem of the client.